Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Nuda Black and of course this is Foxy at 50. Thank you so much for tuning in, and today it's all about the frizz. So it's my top 10 causes and solutions to frizzy hair. Different products and techniques work to control different types of frizz. So the first thing is really to try and identify what's your frizz type. There are three general causes for frizzy hair. You've got genetics, humidity of the weather, and actual damage to the hair. Put simply, frizzy hair is dry hair that lacks moisture. And if that's not bad enough, if it's in a humid climate, the outer layer of the hair takes in the moisture from the air around it, and that causes it to swell and to frizz. I think I can talk with a good degree of knowledge on this subject, as I regularly get compliments actually for my hair, and most people are seeing it in photos and videos, but they don't actually know what I go through, what I have to do to get smooth hair, because the reality is really quite different. My mum said that my hair was just pure wool as a child, and so she kept it very, very short, and I yearned for long hair, but it wasn't to be. So, and she used to worry, what am I going to do when I get older, because she knew what a nightmare it was. So you can definitely say that in my case, it's definitely genetic. So the top 10, these are causes and solutions. So number one, always wash your hair in lukewarm water, never hot water. That really will make the frizz much worse. And then when you finish washing it, rinse it in really cold water, because that will really help tame the frizz. So I always use that method. Always just get used to putting cold water on your hair and never hot water. Number two is a good blow dry. It's essential, and if your style suits a diffuser, use a diffuser, because that's even better for your hair. Skimping on a proper blow dry, or not blow drying it completely, or not smoothing it properly, will cause the hair to frizz as well. You need to particularly concentrate on the ends and not rush it. I mean, it might look okay at first, might think you got away with it, but as soon as you start to move around or go outside, the frizz will reveal itself. So getting a good blow dry is really essential. And if you're not a dab hand at blow drying, I have got a blow drying video on this channel, so you might want to check that out. It is just practice. That's all it is practice, and taking the time to do it properly. And always just make sure that when you are blow drying your hair, you blow dry it down the hair shaft. Then number three is your medication. Many medicines can cause the hair to frizz, and they can even go on to cause the hair to break and fall out. So if your frizzy hair is a new thing, then you might want to look at your medication if that was new as well. Whatever you do, don't just go off it because you think it might be the reason. But if you suspect the problems might come from your meds, then go and talk to your doctor. Don't expect him to be sympathetic. He's not interested in your frizzy hair, but a lot of medicines really do affect the hair, and he or she might be able to prescribe an alternative. But make no mistake, medication can cause the hair to actually break off and fall out, and again, I know that from experience. Then number four is hormones. Make sure your hormones are balanced. This is particularly important, because if your hormones aren't balanced, then no amount of maintenance or product will cure the problem. Your hormones might be out of balance due to menopause, PMS, or some other medical condition that you may or may not know about. But just be aware of that and get tested if you suspect that might be the problem. And if you're looking for some hormonal help, particularly on menopause, then again, I've already released, I think, 3 videos on this channel. And remember, all these things, the first place it affects quite often is your hair. It always shows up in your hair, and so a lot of frizzy hair, particularly at menopause or even PMS, is a result of a hormonal imbalance, so get those checked out. Then number 5 is head sweating. I was really dealt a double whammy when it comes to frizzy hair, because not only is my hair naturally frizzy, but I sweat profusely from my scalp. So if any part of my body wants to sweat, it will start in my head, and that's where it really shows. And of course then that's a nightmare for my hair. If you've got that problem as well, there are things you can do about it. I'll go on to explain what they are, but it's always better to try and prevent it from occurring in the first place if you possibly can. I mean, just getting stressed or overexerting yourself when it's not necessary can cause you to start perspiring from your head. So, and of course that's going to mess up your hair. If you're getting ready, I mean, when I get ready to go somewhere and I want my hair looking nice, I mean, I have to have the fan on in the room all the time, and it's just making sure that the room is as cold as possible, particularly when you need to then put the blow dryer on your hair because it's hot, and it's going to make you sweat more. Now, there are medical solutions for this problem, but naturally you would have to speak to your doctor about that. For example, antidepressants, they can curb sweating quite a bit. Botox works very well for sweating, and it can be used in the scalp. Now, I haven't done it before, but I had planned on doing it this year. I booked a holiday to Dubai, and so I finally decided to take the plunge and get the Botox in my scalp. But of course COVID happened, holiday was cancelled, so I didn't get it done. So if you've had it done, I would love to hear from you. And if you're interested, I will get it done next time I go away. And if you're interested, let me know and I will get back to you and tell you how it works. There is also a medication that curbs all sweating, but you have to be extremely careful with this. I tried it and it didn't work for me. I mean, it worked, but the side effects were horrendous. So, that could be due to the fact that I was also dancing on a stage. Under normal circumstances, it might be very helpful, but I had bad side effects. And I wasn't really given very much supervision, and I certainly wasn't told about the side effects. So it can certainly help some people, but it just wasn't for me. So number 6 is damaged hair. Most often frizzy hair is a combination of the factors that I've already mentioned. But for some, or just partly, it's because it's self-inflicted, basically. It's just damaged. Obviously, for the dryness, you don't need me to tell you, but good shampoo, conditioner, hair mask, I'll go into hair masks later, are important for hydrating and putting moisture back in the hair. So overuse of electrical appliances, like curling tongs, straighteners, particularly straighteners, hair dryers as well, over processing the hair with colours, bleachers, these play havoc with your hair, and you absolutely have to ease up on this if you're really overdoing it. You can't keep damaging the hair and hoping that some wonderful repair hair serum that promises everything will cure the problem, because they can't. They can help a little bit, but they absolutely cannot fight against really damaged hair, even though they may claim to. The problem with straighteners in particular is that many women don't take the time to do a really good blow dry, a proper blow dry, and then just put the straighteners through it thinking, well, that will take care of the frizz. But straighteners are far more damaging than a hairdryer. I know it's simple and easy. A friend of mine once said to me, why on earth are you blow drying your hair? Just use straighteners. And I was horrified. And that particular person had incredibly damaged hair. So you can't rely on the straighteners just to get the frizz out. That's not what they were created for. Use them as occasionally as a treat, but don't use them instead of a blow dryer. Use the blow dryer, it's much better for your hair. I mean, if you can let it dry naturally, fine. For me, that's impossible. My hair will dry into a frizz. But you know, as I keep saying, everybody's frizz is different. But the straighteners they might look okay to begin with, but in the long run, they're causing far more damage and then far more frizz. So if you keep damaging the ends, you have to get them cut. I know these products say that you don't have to, and it will repair all the ends. I mean, they can help a little bit, but the hair can't grow through badly damaged ends. You have to then go and get them cut. So if you're trying to grow your hair, it's just counterproductive. So lay off the straighteners if you're using them a lot. And use a hairdryer to smooth your hair. So number 7 is the anti-frizz products. I want to talk about those for a moment. I'm not talking about the shampoos, conditioners and hair masks that you would wash out. Here I'm generally referring to the serums, gels and creams that are designed to stay in the hair. Now these can be the problem or they can be the solution, depending again on your frizz type. I mean, if you only get frizzy hair, say humid weather, and you're normally pretty okay, then try anti-humidity products, particularly when you go away on holiday, as they may well work in that case. For me, they don't work at all. But again, my particular problem is sweating from the scalp, so they can't defend against that. If frizz is due to over-processing or with the colours and the bleaches or electrical appliances, then anti-frizz products, well, I've already mentioned this, won't repair the damage. They'll just make it look a little bit better depending on how damaged it is. But again, in my case, anti-frizz products won't work, particularly in humid conditions. They will actually make my hair worse, and for many people they will make their hair worse. Knowing your type of frizz you have is key, and you keep piling it on, putting on too much, and it actually is getting worse. I mean, if I first put it on, it will look great. It's like, oh yeah, that works, lovely. But as soon as I go outside and it interacts with the weather, then within 5 minutes the frizz has started, and it was actually worse than it was before. So for me, they're a no-no. But for some people, they can work really well. But if you're too damaged, they're not going to repair it. I just use a good moisture-rich, hydrating shampoo, conditioner and hair mask. I think that they work best, again, I probably mentioned this, but because you wash them out, they're not left in the hair, whereas all the other types of anti-frizz products are left in the hair. Then that brings me on to number 8, the hair mask. I believe a good hair mask is a godsend. It really, really works for me. And I think it's just the best treatment for frizzy hair. I usually use a hair mask maybe twice a week, absolute minimum once a week, and also an absolute minimum is to keep it on overnight. That makes a real difference. I mean, it probably say on the jar half an hour, and of course that will make a difference. You'll certainly see the benefit of that. But if you leave it on overnight, particularly if you've got coarse, wiry, dry hair, then that can make a real difference. And but just remember, use a good quality one without alcohol. Then number 9 is silk. Silk scarf, silk turban, silk pillowcase, silk scrunchies. If you wear your hair in a ponytail a lot, as I do, then a silk scrunchie is a good idea, even if it's just for while you're at home. Then there's going to bed in a silk scarf or turban, and lying, you don't need to do both, or lying on a silk pillowcase. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't actually tried this. I've been meaning to for years, but for whatever reason, you think I would have tried it by now, but I just never got round to it. I have, as we speak, already ordered them, so I can let you know what I think of them, how I get on. Message me in about a week's time then I'll tell you how I got on. But I really started looking into it to see if there really was any evidence that the silk can make a difference. The silk is said to maintain your hairstyle for longer. The smooth texture of the silk means that your hair can glide over the pillowcase without any friction, and that means you'll be less likely to wake up with your hair tangled and in knots. I mean, I've gone to bed with my hair looking nice and soft and, you know, very happy with it, and it just amazes me. I wake up the next day and I look like the wild woman from Borneo. It's just so matted, and I always wondered, well, what on earth was I doing that it could change so much overnight. Apparently the problem with cotton is that your hair will snag on it because cotton is much more porous than silk, and so will absorb the moisture, whereas silk will leave the hair hydrated. I've got high hopes for this, and I wish I had just tried it sooner. So like I say, if you haven't tried it, give me a week and message me, and I'll let you know whether I think it works or not. And it also helps with fine lines and wrinkles for the very same reason. I mean, it makes sense, I suppose. If the silk helps to keep your hair hydrated, why wouldn't it help to keep your face, your skin hydrated? So we're at number 10, and number 10 has got to be vitamins and minerals. Your hair will never look good or grow properly without essential vitamins to nourish it. And we all know that the modern day diet is seriously lacking in essential vitamins and minerals. The best vitamins for your hair are A, D and E. Also minerals like biotin, niacin and iron. Get as much as you can from your foods, and in particular fruit and veg, but taking supplements is always a good idea. I think that's just my opinion. I take supplements, and I also juice a great deal to make sure that I get all the nutrients into my hair. And again, I've got already a video on supplements. If you want to know a little bit more about supplements, you might want to check that out. And that's it for today. So please share the video with any other females who have a problem with frizzy hair. They might find some of the information here helpful. I hope they do. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. And if you want notifications of when the next video comes out, just ring the little bell. So until the next time, I'm Nuala Black. This is Foxy at 50. Stay safe, happy, healthy and well. And frizz free. Bye bye. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what